The truth is out. The new administration told us immigrants were stealing black jobs. They demonized DEI, claiming it was about lowering standards. And now, the economy is collapsing, food prices are soaring, and the industries they saved are crumbling. Black women saw it coming. We tried to warn America about Project 2025, about the attack on democracy, about the billionaires hoarding wealth while weaponizing division. And now, we are all paying the price. They took away DEI. Now key industries are falling apart. Planes are crashing. Grocery prices are skyrocketing. Crops are dying because farmers can't pay fair wages. Howard Zinn told us, the use of history is to shine a light on the hidden struggles of the past so that we don't become victims of the same deception in the present. And yet, here we are. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Drop a comment below. Did you see this coming? Who really benefits from all of this? Let's talk. Subscribe for daily breakdowns on the fight for democracy.
South Dakota dairy farmer Greg Mose supports Donald Trump and his pick of his governor, Kristi Noem, to lead the Department of Homeland Security.
Are you worried if there were a mass roundup of undocumented migrants that you might lose workers? You might not have enough workers.
How are they going to do that? Nobody will be filling the shelves. Nobody will be producing food. Within 2 days, we will not have food. There will not be food anywhere.
2 days?
Yes.
It sounds like you have a lot of faith that they're not going to do what they're saying.
That's pretty much what I'm thinking. We have to trust in our officials that are put in place.
We learned there is a shortage in workers in the industry. South Florida is in the middle of a construction boom. Massive buildings like the Paramount Miami World Center are being built on the backs of thousands of construction workers, many from outside the U.S.
The overall industry has a percentage of illegal immigrants that work in construction, and that's where we're going to run into an issue.
Dan Kotze, the CEO of Royal Palm Companies, the developer behind the Paramount, says finding skilled workers for the job is already tough amid a national construction worker shortage of roughly 300,000.
We will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came.
A lot of people that, for instance, grow up in the United States may not want to go into those go into construction or any type of those jobs. So it's very important for us to have immigrants that come in to fill these positions. However, we need trained immigrants.
It could make the construction job market competitive for skilled workers, but there's a cost.
The smaller contractors working on smaller projects, they typically might end up with illegal immigrants working on their jobs. And so to fill those positions, they're going to offer more money to take maybe skilled workers that are now working on some of these high-rise projects to fill these positions, and it's just going to push the cost of construction up.
Add in the tariffs President Trump wants to place on Canada, and that too could push construction costs up on materials like lumber, leading to higher housing costs.
Action made some ag workers too afraid to show up for work, bringing the area's citrus harvest to a virtual halt.
Definitely, we are certainly very concerned about what is happening and how that is unfolding.
The Monterey County Farm Bureau says it is keeping a close eye on the developments in the Central Valley. Harvest season in the Salinas Valley begins in late April. The Farm Bureau says just the threat of deportations could be enough to deter many of the 55,000 migrant workers the valley needs to operate during harvest season.
They're not going to show up for work, and that means crops will remain in the field and not be harvested and probably lost at that point.
The Farm Bureau says that could lead to higher food prices.
A lot of y'all thought that it was a good thing when Trump said Hispanics are taking black jobs, but the reality is what he really meant is black folks are taking white jobs. And him and his two young white men that he replaced those black folks with are showing you in this press conference. Watch this.
It'd be very good for certain jobs, but not people that should be doing this particular job.
That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't. We want brilliant people doing this. This is a major chess game. at the highest level.
We want to hire the best people because we want the best people at air traffic control, and we want to make sure we have enough people at air traffic control who are actually competent to do the job. If you go back to just some of the headlines over the past 10 years, you have many hundreds of people suing the government because they would like to be air traffic controllers, but they were turned away because of the color of their skin. That policy ends under Donald Trump's leadership.
We will have the best and brightest in every position possible. As you said in your inaugural, it is colorblind and merit-based.
Now, the Secretary of Defense earlier today got to show up at the DOD looking like this, talking to the American people about the situation.
It was a fairly experienced crew, and that was doing a required annual night evaluation. They did have night vision goggles.
And he replaced this black man whose resume was this long. And by the way, these are his qualifications in comparison. It's never been about qualifications or experience. It's always been about race and class. And America has always been some form of a job farm or a plantation. And what you see here is they're trying to set things in the order that they desire it to be in. Deport the brown, replace them with the blacks, and elevate the whites back to their rightful place as they see it. The press secretary is 27, the vice president is 40, and the Secretary of Defense is 44. It's not about experience. It's not about qualifications. It's about whiteness. 73% of air traffic controllers are white, 15% are Hispanic, 9% are black. So how is DEI the problem if 73% of the people doing the job are white? Now maybe the rest of you can see what some of us have been trying to tell you all along.